Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a bonus episode of Living in Fear. Today we're talking about The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO. The first episode just premiered a few hours ago, and we're excited to talk about it. This is kind of adjacent to the podcasts that we do on films, but we really like The Last of Us, and it is kind of horror, right? I mean, it is, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
technically it's horror.
it's horror adjacent. Yeah.
So yeah, we're excited to talk about episode one, and we'll probably be doing this for all the episodes, and we'll post them on Monday right after the premiere, so a day after. Cool. So yeah, my name's Luis. I'm your host, and Mia, who are you?
I'm Mia, as you just said. And the other host, the co-host.
Cool. I guess we should say that. Well, I guess we should talk a little bit about our background with The Last of Us. Um, so I've played. Mia and I, well, both of us have played the games, Last of Us One and Last of Us Part Two, and we've both beaten both the games, and we know everything that's going to happen in this season. But we're gonna try not to spoil anything. We're gonna try not to like go ahead of,
As the current episode, yeah.
yeah, which
I feel
might,
like we're going to relate it to the game because it's impossible for us not to. So there may be like, oh, this happened differently in the game or something like that, but we're not going to be talking about
yeah,
what's to come.
yeah.
And I
Well,
mean, hey, we might have surprises too. They're not going to do it exactly the same.
yeah, we'll definitely not spoil the big moments because there's gonna be a lot of them.
But
Um,
we will be spoiling the first game and the first season
yeah,
of the show.
yeah. And if we actually we accidentally do spoil something, I'll edit it out.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid I might. It'll be hard not to, but yeah.
So anyways, what's Mia? I'm gonna turn it over to you. How do you feel about the games? Let's talk about the games a little bit.
Okay. I feel like I have a little bit of a different relationship to the games than some. The first game came out and I heard about it for like a couple years. I don't know when I played it. I feel like I played it maybe a year before the second one came out or something. I was a little late to the party. Heard all these great things about it. Played the first game and I was very underwhelmed. I guess to me it was just, I don't know, I feel like I've watched a lot of zombie movies, I've watched a lot of apocalyptic movies, and I didn't feel like the story had anything like crazy new. Like it was done well and stuff, and I get why people liked it. I just wasn't as like blown away as other people. I think it was just overhyped for me. So I was expecting something like really crazy and over the top, and I've also played a lot of like story-based games. Um so yeah. And then for some reason, I guess because there was a lot of talk about the second game. I don't know that I was even paying a ton of attention to it before it came out, like the like first trailer and things like that. I don't know that I was like that hyped for. But then as you and I at least know and the people that are in the gaming world know, there was a lot of talk about it and a lot of controversies and a lot of hate thrown at the second game and
A lot of misinformation.
a lot of yeah. fake news.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
It was mostly due to the leaks. It was leaked, like
yeah,
all the footage, all the scenes from the second game were leaked. I
I
don't
mean,
know,
not
like
all the scenes, but some key scenes,
yeah, like
right?
yeah, right, the key
Some key
scenes.
scenes, and people just were very mean. The only way I can really put it. It was, yeah. Um, and for some reason, that made me interested all of a sudden because I want to form my own opinions on things. So when I hear a lot of like hate about things, I want to come to my own conclusion and see what it is. And I feel like that's like even the new like Assassin's Creed game. That's why I'm like, oh, I kind of want to play that now and see like, since all these people are like hating on it and like being ridiculous, like
Yeah.
kind of makes me want to play it more and see how I feel about it. I mean, people that play it seem to actually like it, but all the people that like. Um,
The
so
stu-
yeah.
the stupidest argument for Assassin's Creed is, oh, they're changing history. That guy wasn't actually a samurai.
Yeah.
Like, have you played any of the other games? Like, they
Yeah.
all change history.
Yep.
You know, Da
Yeah.
Vinci doesn't help you with building your flying suit and your flying machines in the game. That's literally a plot line in one of the games.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my roundabout. I have more to say about Assassin's Creed.
So then when the game came out, I went and just bought it. I don't know if I bought it on like release day or like a couple days later or something, but like I was like wanting to buy it like right away. And I went into Target. They had it. I bought it. I came home. I don't think Luis even knew I was buying it or anything. I don't think I really talked to him about it. I was just like, you know what? I need a game to play by, like by myself at least. Like maybe he'll play it too, but I'm interested in this. And I don't actually buy many games myself, especially without like talking to you about it.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, and I freaking loved it. It's dark and it's sad and it's like I got so emotionally invested in it and the gameplay is really good. I just like it's one of my favorite games if not my favorite games like ever at least as of right now. Whereas I feel like, a lot of people really do like this game. The people that actually like went into it open-minded and everything. Like some people love it. Even some people that went in and played it and had an open mind still didn't like love it. They liked it. But yeah, I'm on the train of people that like freaking loved it and thought it was so well done.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I feel
was
like other people are missing out.
yeah, I was kind of surprised that you loved it so much back then when we were playing it. I feel like you don't usually love games. Like very few games you actually love. Like I would say maybe what the other games like BioShock or something.
BioShock Infinite is
Yeah.
one of my top games. This, um, what else? Like there's one more that I can't think of right now. The original BioShock, I need to replay that one. I liked it. I still haven't gotten around to the second game. The Borderlands games, I've enjoyed those. Um, Dead Space, I like Dead Space quite a bit. Halo, I played Halo 3 so much.
Mhm.
And Mass Effect, the Mass Effect games I really like too. I still don't know that I loved Mass Effect on the level that like you loved it. I think you were more emotionally invested in those games than I was, but I played them and I played the first one like a couple times at least and
Yeah.
really spent my time with them and tried to do everything. But yeah, this one,
I mean, sometimes it's just nostalgic for me, and it's probably that those games were kind of ahead of their time when they came out,
yeah,
and they just hit different. Whereas if you were to play them now, for example, The Last of Us Part One, the game, um, there's so many games now that have like impeccable voice acting, and every cutscene looks like a you know, a film, you know,
Hmm.
produced by a world class director. Like they just that's it's that good, and it was kind of the first time that we saw that in games, that
Hmm.
games were capable of telling stories like that, and it wasn't
Yeah.
just about run. Let's throw a little cutscene here, and then just like just shoot mindlessly, and just have it be a game, more of a game than and less of a movie. But I think The Last of Us Part One kind of meshed that really well,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's why it's so beloved.
Yeah. I guess like I don't know. I like Tomb Raider, the like remake of Tomb Raiders. What was the first one called? I don't remember. That one I really liked, and that one had a good story that I was interested in too. Kind of about her, being kind of more of an innocent character than her having to like fight and like kill people. And at a certain point, it's like, who am I even at
Hmm.
this point? So like that one, I think I played before this, before The Last of Us one. And so like, I had played a couple like I played some story games where I was really liked the characters and followed the story a lot and cared about it. So I guess, like I said, it wasn't as groundbreaking for me. I also did mention Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Hmm.
That's a game that's pretty up there for me. That one we played like a few times and we put our hours into that.
Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, the characters are great, but the story is just fucking outrageous. You know,
Yeah,
it's
but it's still
it's.
so good.
I mean, it's just bonkers though what it's actually happening.
Yeah, but they do it so well. That's why that game is so impressive.
Like I'm
Like,
just saying, like a random, like a normie or like a casual person that doesn't play video games, if we have them play Final Fantasy VII, like what the
oh
fuck is
yeah.
going on? But like something
Last
like The
of Us
Last
is
of Us, though,
definitely yes.
yeah,
It's more something that like anybody can play. You just put it on an easier difficulty and let the story be, the main thing they're experiencing. And yeah.
yeah, and then The Last of Us 2, I really loved as well. Um, I think I feel like I had my problems with it, but maybe it was mostly with the pacing and the gameplay. But
Hmm.
I still loved the like it didn't. I think at the end of the day, it didn't take away from anything. But
I think
let me just say that I I liked where they went with the story. I think it was
yes.
riskier, and they knew, like the developers knew that they weren't gonna win everybody over.
Yeah.
But that was a risk that they were willing to take, and I kind of applaud them for taking that risk.
Hmm.
Instead of playing it safe, they could have just
They made it a
yeah
challenge. And it's not, yeah, they weren't going to win everyone over. But the people that like are there for it, it hits hard.
yeah. Did you know that the one of the co-directors of The Last of Us 2 part 2, the game, um is one of the directors from Westworld?
Hmm.
Did you know that? At
I
least
don't remember.
for the first season of Westworld. I'm not sure if they changed directors, but yeah,
Do you know who it is?
she kind of, I forgot what her role was.
Hmm.
But she was like narrative
Yeah.
director or something like that. But yeah, cool. We've been talking
I think,
about games a lot.
yeah.
let's uh, let's get into the episode. All right, season two, episode one. Yeah, what
It was
did you?
about an hour long,
Yeah,
right?
an hour long. Um, what did you think?
I liked it better than the first season.
Bold.
I think it's on track to be really good. I mean, the first season is good, especially as like game adaptations go. I think they were very faithful.
Mm-hmm.
This one, they are very faithful to the game as well. The things that they add, are fine. There's certain things where like, I'm like, how's that gonna play out adding this thing on or something? Or there's things that they add that just, I don't feel like add a ton to the show always, but also I'm not mad that it's there. But like, I mean, they added uh Bill and Frank. Like you knew about those characters. You interacted with Bill in the first game, and in the first season like they get their own episode. And like
Well, remember, in the first game, you only meet Bill,
Bill, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
and then
He was in the show
yeah,
or game,
and when you,
but they're both in the show.
yeah, you only
Yeah,
hear about
Frank.
Frank, who is already dead
Hmm.
when you get to Bill.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one major difference. Is Bill is lived in the game, but didn't live in the show.
It's kind of funny because that episode is like heartbreaking at the end when they like die and stuff, but it's actually a happier ending for them than in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the game, like, Bill is clearly upset, but he's like, you know, bad talking Frank and
Yeah. Well, Bill's just bitter about everything. He's.
yes, but he's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So, versus the show, they both die, but they both died loving each other
Yeah.
and fully committed to each other and not hiding that. And so, yeah, it was heartbreaking episode, but bittersweet. But that's one of those things where, like, did it add a ton to the, like, story? Not necessarily, because it's like, I mean, you meet them in that episode and then they die in that episode. So for the overall thing, how much does it add? But like, am I so happy that episode is there? Yes. Not everything needs to contribute in a like huge way to the story.
Yeah.
And it still contributed in like some ways, like it's still if you see how it kind of affects Joel and everything and
So yeah, let's get back to the episode.
so what did you think of this episode, this first episode of season 2?
I really loved it. I think it's, yeah, it's like you said. I feel like it's starting off really well. Let's hope they don't mess it up. I like all the additions as well. Um, yeah, and yeah, I guess yeah. My concern is about these uh these tentacle things that are in the pipe, and how is that gonna play out?
Yeah, that
Though,
was my go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say though in the game they do mention. Remember, one of them has a character has a line. What if we get hit by hunters again or whatever? Maybe this is where that comes in.
Mm.
So maybe that, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's gonna happen, right? It seems like that's where
Yeah.
it's leading.
It's just that was one of my like main questions coming from season 1 is like how is that going to be handled? And then they brought it up again in this episode and then I was like, all right, they're still going with that. We'll see, like it might have like really big consequences, that may be like a big impact and a big thing that's like different about the show versus the game. But I'm here for it. You gotta, trust them. They're doing a good job on everything else. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really enjoying Bella Ramsey's portrayal of Ellie. Like
she's
she's
one of those, I always kind of am hesitant.
Mhm.
I always not worry, but maybe I just, I'm not like super confident or something, or like, but she always impresses me.
Yeah, she's acting older, you know,
Mm-hmm.
more experience. And they
Mm-hmm.
addressed I feel like they just addressed just her stature and her like yes, she is a short girl and
Yeah.
maybe not the strongest girl. But like even in the first scene, was it the first scene? Maybe it was the second scene. She I don't know. I feel like she used her strength differently on the guy that she was fighting.
Yeah.
Um, though the guy did hold his punches, so that's
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing. At the end of the day, like a big guy can probably overpower her.
yeah,
But the thing about Ellie, even in the games, is like she's not just brute force. She's like sneaky, like she uses other things to her advantage. Um, I am curious. So you like that Ellie portrayal?
uh huh,
How do you feel about the people at the beginning of the show? Abby and Owen and
yeah. So that was interesting, right? Because that scene, or actually, we don't even get that scene in the game. That's a
no,
totally new scene,
yeah.
and we learn off the bat so much about this character Abby. And in the game, we don't learn that much about her.
She clearly is an important role even among her friends and people.
Yeah. Well, we don't even know that yet, right? We just know that
I mean, with the people that she's with right there.
we
Like
just
they're all kind of like, yes, Abby, like we
yeah.
got you. Because I just think that they all just lost people. I'd imagine they all just
Hmm.
lost like friends. Because Joel killed how many freaking people?
Yeah.
But they're kind of like there for her and like backing her up.
Hmm.
I I I'm a little I don't know how I feel about their portrayals yet. I think sometimes when a show first starts, the first few episodes or something, as an actor is getting familiar with the character, with everything.
Hmm.
When you're new on a show, there's an adjustment period. And I feel like some people really get it right on, and then some people it takes a little bit of time to really like figure it all out.
Hmm.
I feel like that crew of people just felt like they were still like all brand new because those are all new people.
Yeah.
So they all felt a little bit newer and like they weren't as, on the mark for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they'll all fall into those roles. And I think even, the first season and the first episode, I feel like I even felt that. Like I thought they did a really good job, but I feel like even some of the actors in that one, even, like Bella in the beginning, um they were like that for me too. And then as the season went on, they really fell in to Ellie.
Yeah.
Also, Bella does go by they them, right? I'm pretty sure I've said she a couple times, so I apologize.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Um,
I was gonna say, uh, Abby. Something about what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah. I guess in the game, we don't. Yeah, we get a scene with these people,
mhm.
but we don't actually know anything about them. Um,
Yeah.
and we're just kind of going along, like we're kind of like the same, kind of like what you just said. Like, who are these people? Like why should I care about these people? And
Hmm.
it was in the same way in the game. It's like why are you showing me this scene? With these
I don't know.
people.
I feel like in the show, at least, like right away, though, you like know how they're at least somewhat related.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's
in the games, you don't know any of that. You're just like all of a sudden they don't give you a name. They're like man and woman.
yeah,
And you're just like, who who are these people? Because you start playing as Abby, and you're like, why am I playing as Abby? Like, and it doesn't even tell you. It just says like woman until finally like Owen says her name, and then she says Owen's name, and then you know their names, and it goes on from there. But you're just like, hello, like they're just like out in the wilderness, like walking around.
yeah.
So I think it might have been good for them to set up like the audience with a little tiny bit of backstory.
hmm I'm
Um,
curious how all the Last of Us Part Two haters will will.
do you think they'll be watching this?
Well, I guess yeah, maybe not.
We'll see. I mean, some people just love to like hate watch things, so they might do that too. I just wanted to piggyback on my whole talking about people's interpretations of the characters and stuff. I love Dina.
Yeah, Dina's awesome.
And I think it helps that those people that are in with like the Joel and Ellie group are in with people that came over from the first season. So those people already have their stride.
hmm
So I think it's a little bit easier to come in with the people that are always already familiar with it all.
Yeah,
Um, but also she just does a good job.
yeah. And dude, what's with
I,
this relationship, dude? She's got a bit of a relation with Joel, which is not in the game at all.
I know, right? That was pretty like interesting to see her and Joel interacting because you never see that in the game.
Um, yeah. So, what did you think about psychologist or therapist character?
Gail, played by Catherine O'Hara. I mean, she was big on the trailers. They showed her multiple times. Um, I like her. I think it also shows an interesting setup to more who Joel is and things that Joel has done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if like maybe her husband got bit or something and then he shot him, right?
Yeah.
Because she says that you shot him or you killed him or so I feel like it was something like that.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's something. Yeah, but she also said it's the way you did it, so I wonder how he
Yes,
did it.
exactly. That's yeah. I mean, who knows? It could have just been like one of those like he just did it without any like real sympathy or emotions. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you got bit, killed ya. because that is like he has just killed a ton of people, and he doesn't always form the connection with people like he did with Ellie in
Yeah.
the first season, the first game. That was
Yeah.
kind of like Ellie was his turning point.
Yeah, and Tommy has a kid.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a kid in the game,
No.
which is kind of, it also is going to add a different dynamic as the
Which
show
we
goes
also
on.
forgot about.
Yeah.
We forgot because it showed the kid in like the trailer or something, and I was like, "Who's this kid?" You know? And then somebody said it's Tommy's kid. And I was like, "Wait, Tommy has a kid?" And then when we rewatched season one, his wife is pregnant,
Yeah.
so it's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Yep, forgot about that." But I'm I have some thoughts about that. I have some.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I mean, it just depends how it's all gonna play out.
How it's handled. How
But I
everything
do,
is
I did
handled.
like those scenes though. Joel
Yeah.
and Uncle Joel and the kid. Um, um, what else happened in this show?
We got stalkers.
Oh right, we got stalkers.
We got stalkers.
Yeah, the stalkers are a big thing in the game. They're a different type of enemy. They're kind of a pain in the ass to kill because they just kind of hide from you. Um, and that's just what they do. They stalk, and when you
Yeah,
when
sneak
you
around and
when you're
they can crawl.
not paying attention, they'll come running at you.
Yeah.
What did
I
you
do.
What did you think of that scene?
I mostly liked it. I just don't understand why it was making noise when she was like, "Run at me." Like it like came around the corner like and she didn't know it was there and then it just started making noise while it was like looking at her. So I was like, what? I thought you were being sneaky. Why would you like be making all this noise now? But it did continue after that, after it like ran away. Like when it
Hmm.
hid in the little like middle part, that was cool. And it was cool to see it just like very quietly like sneaking behind her. That definitely had like, more horror vibes to it.
Yeah, yeah, I loved all the shots of it in the background. You can't
Yeah.
hardly see it. Um,
And I had a feeling it was coming because I had asked you right before it showed it. Because she was just like looking around, and then I was like, "So what's the deal with stalkers?" And then it came crawling across the screen. I was like, "Oh, there's a stalker."
yeah, I mean about the noise, I feel like they're not. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just kind of mindless beings. So like, like even a clicker makes noise, right? Like it screams. It doesn't click.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
just seemed weird that in that moment when it like almost was able to attack her, it would like make noise, and it didn't like the other times. It was fine. I liked that scene. I do like feel like sometimes like I don't know, I feel like in the first season and even in like the games and stuff, like the clickers are like shown to be like really intense, right?
mm-hmm.
But then sometimes they like kill them pretty easily in the show
Yeah,
and they feel like less of a threat.
yeah. It seems like even in season one, even Joel was like, having trouble with killing just one,
Yes. Like
and
they
and
were like
he's and
really worried about it.
yeah, they were worried about what, one or two when they went into that building,
Yeah, I think there were two.
and then they were, and then this, Ellie just kills one.
I was like, oh, just another day. But I guess like it just shows that, her and Dina have been killing these things and they've been going out of their way to do it.
Yeah,
That's why like some of the townspeople are like mad because they're like, look, this isn't about like killing all these things. Like this is about like patrolling, keeping the area safe, keeping us all safe. So like, yeah, we can kill them, but we need to do it as a group. And Ellie and Dina are just kind of having fun with it. But like I said, I get Ellie being a little, careless because she gets bit. She's not going to die. They can still kill her. They can still like bite her throat and like,
Mm-hmm.
mortally wound her. But Dina gets bit. Dina's dead.
Yeah.
So it's a little, like, really, Ellie? Like, you're like that, nonchalant about like letting other people be at risk. But also, like, she's a teenager and, they've been doing this for a while, it seems like. And they just, sometimes when you're a teenager, you feel a little invincible.
And Ellie gets bit in this, doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
Which I guess. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right?
I mean, it's her getting bit, it's her showing that she's taking precautions to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
She, like, cuts into it so that it doesn't look like a bite anymore, and then she's stitching it up herself. It's
Yeah.
showing that, she's tough. She can sit there and cut herself with a knife and then stitch herself up. She knows how to take care of wounds,
And also,
she's tough.
it is strange to me, maybe just because I played the game, but the stalkers were a thing from the beginning. And so in the
Mm-hmm.
show, it makes it seem like they just started showing up, or they've just barely encountered one.
I think that's it. They've just barely encountered them. But I mean,
Yeah,
that's, I feel like that's believable that they're just going to encounter more things as they go on.
yeah.
Like, they didn't know what a bloater was before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the more you, live in this world, the more you're going to see things.
Yeah.
And maybe just people that have seen stalkers haven't lived to tell the tale. I mean, Ellie almost didn't. If she wasn't immune, she would have died.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have known it was a stalker necessarily. See, I'm fine with that.
What did you think about the dance scene? What did you think
It was
about?
very much the game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 1 for 1
There
with the
were,
game.
yeah, which is so like, because that's like one of the game trailers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the first like game footage that you see cutscene is the dance and it opening like that, panning down on it like Ellie with the song and everything, and it just like takes you back.
And that scene is way later in the game. That scene's done as a flashback in the game.
Yeah. But
It's
I like how they did it. I like that they're showing some things now and then they're going to show some things later, and I think it's making it a little easier to understand,
yeah.
especially since they've already said this isn't going to be like the second game isn't going to just be one season.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they say it could be 2 or 3 seasons?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think that suits it better.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of just laying it out all out there for everybody to see. This tension between Joel and Ellie. We've only in the game we only kind of learn we only kind of like we don't get any of the scenes early on. So you're just always wondering like what the hell happened with Joel and Ellie? Like why are they so mad at each other? But
It's also like you get more of his behind the scenes to it.
yeah.
Like you see him really upset
Mm-hmm.
at the fact that Ellie doesn't want to be around him, doesn't want to talk to him right now. You see how like hurt he is that he's going to therapy to try and figure it out. Like he doesn't seem like the type that would just easily go and talk to someone about it. Like maybe he would reach out to Tommy or something, but not like somebody else. And he's really, he's doing his best. But also, yeah, I get where everybody else is kind of coming from, where it's like she's a teenager. A lot of teenagers don't talk to their parents.
Yeah.
Now, she may have more valid reasons for that, but, it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe give her time and things will be okay. But, when somebody's upset at you and you're hurt by that, you don't want to give it time. You want to fix that then.
Well, it's not gonna be fixed because, I mean, at least in therapy, because he's never gonna tell her the truth to the therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if she's drinking on the job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how trustworthy is she gonna be with this information.
Yeah, she
You,
poured herself a big cup too.
there's always that relationship between therapist and client. What is it?
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, since I mean,
But this is the apocalypse, so like,
exactly. I was like, I wonder how all this like works now. Like, she's drinking on the job. Like, how does like the patient doctor patient confidentiality
yeah,
work?
yeah.
Like how many things is she actually like abiding by?
Mm-hmm. What did you think about Dina and Ellie's chemistry?
I think they both did a really good job. Um,
I think so too. I think so. Is the Dina actress shorter, or did they just give Bella Ramsey um like some high heeled boots to make Bella seem
I feel like
taller?
that girl might be kind of short too. The girls are shorter,
Yeah.
so it's not impossible that she's like smaller too. But I think, Bella, they do a good job being kind of awkward and like you're not interested in me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like you would never be interested in me. And then Dina's clearly a totally different type of person.
Yeah.
She just kind of does whatever she wants, says whatever she wants. She's a lot more free. And if she likes Ellie, she's going to tell Ellie that. And I've always really liked Dina. And I think, like I said, this girl's doing a good job playing her. And it's, I don't know. I buy. I think they're cute.
Yeah, I think the chemistry's good. I think that's one of the things they were really worried about.
Yeah.
The directors, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
Like there might be some.
we already casted them. Like we can't just fire them. Like, hopefully their
I mean,
chemistry
I'm
is
sure
good.
they did chemistry reads. I'm sure. Like that's a big part of,
Yeah.
casting is you can have somebody who is a great actor, but if they just don't have that thing between them, and it doesn't make either person a bad actor. It's just there's just something there. Um, what was I gonna say? I don't
Yeah. What else happened? What happened at the end? Okay, so it ends with Abby, Abby's group. I feel like not much is said though, right? they just reached the town.
Yeah, it's clear that they've reached the town. It looks like maybe a horde is going to come to the town
Mm-hmm.
too because the tentacles in the pipe
Yeah.
is a little White Walker-ish, right? Winter is coming.
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about the tentacles. I
I
feel
mean,
I feel like they could
I'm
have
waiting to see.
I feel like they could have easily just not done it, and like
Yeah.
the same events are could still happen,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they felt like the show needed more excitement, or
I mean,
maybe, the,
I'm curious to know what they will do with it.
yeah.
Like how much are they going to communicate with each other?
Yeah. I mean,
That's something that's not in the game, so that's completely new to us.
the thing about the games is you're constantly interacting with infected because you're playing a video game where you kill things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The story is there too, versus like the show, they have to like incorporate the infected in other ways, I guess, you know? They can't just like always have Ellie and Joel like killing them, hunting them, like just walking around, like, So they need to feel like a threat. And then also like, like I said, they have shown the clickers and things like they're mastering killing them and stuff. So it's like you have to, keep one upping yourself. Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I loved everything about this first episode. Um, I loved all the characters. All the actors are doing a great job. How did the Jesse guys? Great too.
Hmm.
He's in the game.
So much of it was straight from the game.
Yeah,
Even like the Tommy and Ellie shooting
yeah.
that's in the game. And that's another way of like showing that she's been training basically. So like, they're setting it up so like it's like so you believe Bella is more capable of these things, right? That
Mm-hmm.
Ellie is more capable of these things
Yeah.
instead of just showing this like small girl killing things. Like you have to believe that Ellie is capable of this and they're setting it up. I feel like they've put a lot of thought and consideration to it. They're not just like rushing this. They're not trying to change things just to be like super entertaining and over the top and crazy. Like it's just everything feels like there's a reason for it. So that's why even when I have like my doubts or hesitations, I'm like, just trust the process. They've done a good job on all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, just, and I want to like this, clearly. I'm going in this with a positive attitude. I'm not trying to like hype myself up and like, you know, go in with, crazy expectations. But I am expecting to like it and ultimately have positive thoughts on it.
Yeah. I mean, so far, yeah, all the actors are doing a great job. We still just don't know much about Abby's group,
Yeah.
um, especially Abby.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I saw, I mean, she's doing a great job already.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little curious. I think they'll get better as they go.
Yeah.
They weren't like perfect for me in this, but I think as the season goes on, they'll really tone it in and they'll be good. Like all of that group. I'm excited.
Me too.
And like I said, I liked this episode even better than the last season. The last season, of course, had really good moments and everything, and I liked it overall. I like really, really liked it. But just, the fact that I like the second game better, and I'm probably a little more worried about this one. The fact that this episode was like so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited. You can hear our neighbors and talk.
I don't
That
think the
dog.
mics. I don't think the mics can
I
pick
could
it up.
hear it. I could hear it through your thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I started laughing. It sounds so funny.
um. Yeah. The second game is so complex that I was worried how they were gonna do it, but I'm not worried anymore because the second game, it just tells the story differently.
Yeah.
It gives you
I
pieces of it throughout the game with flashbacks.
Yes, the other one is a lot more like not linear.
Yeah.
This this I think they're setting up. And then also could be a because they are having to split this into multiple seasons, so people are going to be watching like this story for at least a couple years, And so you have to make it a little less confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So they need it to be a little bit more linear and give you certain information early on. I'm just bummed that, there's certain things that I'm not going to be able to talk about for a long time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, they showed us so much already, though. It's
yeah,
crazy how many scenes we
yep,
get towards the end of the game, and they're already
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Like the one with Tommy and Ellie just sniping. That's a whole flashback into. Well, there's more to that scene in the game, so maybe they'll show more.
yeah,
Well, I guess technically that could still be a separate scene.
yeah.
And then the scene towards the end where Bella, or I keep saying Bella, where Ellie sees Joel in the on the porch. That's a scene close to the end too. You
Yeah.
know, given as a flashback. Um, but yeah, it's too bad we have to wait a week.
Yeah.
It's all right.
This is good though.
We'll watch some movies. Talk about them.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else you want to say?
Not that I can say.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy. I really like that episode. I will probably rewatch it before the season's over, maybe even before the next episode.
Nice. Cool. All right, everyone. This has been Living in Fear, a bonus episode where we're covering season 2 of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week with episode 2. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye.